Venerable Annie Choying Drolma, UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador to Nepal, and eminent Buddhist nun. Venerable was born in Bodha, Kathmandu, Nepal in 1971, seeing lots of sufferings and pain in life in order to get rid of the tragic destiny of women in a male-dominant society, which she saw vividly in her own family and the community. The 13 years old Choying Drolma decided to leave home to join a Buddhist nunnery named Nagi Gompa on Shivapuri mountain in the northern slope of the Kathmandu Valley. The fate of her life since then was rewritten. Her education and spiritual training were supervised by the renowned meditation master, His Eminence Tulku Urgyen Rinpoche. She was well trained in Buddhist meditation, chants, rituals, performances, and ceremonies. She was quickly advanced to the position of chanting master in the nunnery. Overwhelmed by the guidance, caring, and love from her spiritual teacher, His Eminence Tulku Urgyen Rinpoche, Annie Choying Drolma was not only able to change the perspective of life by seeing the suffering of her parents and many others, she was also able to transform her anger and frustration in life into understanding and compassion. Today, Venerable Annie Choying Drolma is a renowned Nepalese Buddhist nun known for her numerous humanitarian efforts. Considering her outstanding contribution to the society, UNICEF announced her their Goodwill Ambassador to Nepal. Her efforts have been constantly praised and emulated in her autobiography, Singing for Freedom, which has been published already in 7 languages and is listed as an international bestseller. She has done the modernized version of Buddhist chants as well as Nepalese and Tibetan songs. She has performed for countless fans. She is charming, attractive, vibrant, and eloquent performer admired by fans in Nepal and throughout the world. The haunting melodies of her ancient songs and hymns have been passed from master to pupil for many centuries. Now, I would like to request Venerable Annie Choying Drolma to start her address. Thank you so much for joining. Please, over to you. Over to you, Most Venerable. You may start your lecture.
Okay, can you hear me? Namaste.
Yes. Namaste. We can hear you, and your video is very clear.
Humble respect to all the venerables who are in the okay. I'm looking a little bit strange because I'm in a studio right now, so I was supposed to go back to my place and then join the this Zoom meeting, but somehow I'm in a rush, so I tried to join you earlier. So it's a real honor and a pleasure to be part of this gathering, Sisters in Dharma. And well, I really am bad at really making addresses. I mean, what I feel about is like it's such an honor that we are all in the path of Buddha's teaching and following, trying to make our life more meaningful, finding ways to make our lives more meaningful in a very practical way, I should say. So besides that, I would rather actually, I always enjoy receiving questions rather than me only speaking, and especially having to speak on computer makes me feel very uncomfortable because I feel like I'm talking to the computer, not really to a human. So if I would have someone to interact with me, so that would make me feel very comfortable. Would that be possible?
Yes, I'll stay connected. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. That makes me feel much better because I see your face. Otherwise, I'm looking at a screen, which I feel is very non-human. And
yes, and this pandemic has bound us to do this.
So human to human, interaction is far much more lively and meaningful than rather than me as a human and talking to just a screen makes me feel very awkward. Yeah. So please help me out.
Yes, I'm definitely sticking to the screen now.
Okay. Can you please tell me a little bit more about our today's event? Actually, please forgive me for my ignorant and not being updated well.
Yeah, sure. So we actually are having, as you already know, this because of the Women's Week, Women's Day week we are celebrating here, and there are many prominent guests that have joined today. Let me introduce everyone to you because you have actually joined a little late. So we have Most Venerable Bhikkhuni, Dr. Ming Yu. She is Honorary President. If you can connect Sister Mingyu, yes. I'm asking my IT team to connect Sister Mingyu with the screen. Yeah, here. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Most Venerable Bhikkhuni Mingyu, Honorary President, SEPA Taiwan. Our next guest is Sister Lo Pai Ling. Sister Lo Pai Ling, President, Buddhist Missionary Society of Malaysia. Yeah,
from Malaysia. You're from Malaysia. Welcome again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
From Malaysia.
Thank you. Thank you. Very nice to see you.
And we have another guest, Dr. Christie Chang, President Sakyadhita. Yes, she's from Taiwan.
Namaste.
Hello, Venerable. Very nice to meet you again here.
Very nice to meet you. Please forgive me. I am a little late, I think.
No problem.
Today is the World's Kidney Day, and as I have a social charity activity that goes on people who are suffering with kidney failure. So I was totally engaged with this kind of activity today since early 6:30 this morning. So
Wow.
please forgive me,
This
I'm
is
late.
so wonderful. We have Venerable Bhikkhuni Dhammananda ji with us. Abbess, Songdhammakalyani Monastery from Thailand. Everybody knows her.
Yes.
And the most senior person in the panel today.
Yes. So beautiful.
Bhikkhuni Dhammananda ji. We have Acharya Kinle Gyalsen. He's an eminent scholar of Vajrayana from Bhutan. Acharya ji is not right now connected with us. And we also have Venerable Dr. Dhammapiya ji, Secretary General IBC, also connected with us today.
Namaste.
Yes. And this is it. And we have CEO of our university, Dr. Shalya Raj, with us. She is the chief guest of today's seminar as well.
Namaskar.
I think her camera is not connected right now, and so she'll join during the end. And we also have connected with Sister Ching Ching. She joined us to facilitate Venerable Ming Yu with the language part.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. So you may continue. This was all the panel we had today with us. So you may
Thank you
continue
so much.
this now.
And will you please help me? What theme we are talking about?
Yeah, we are actually talking about women in Buddhism, and we are basically here to share our personal journey in contribution in Buddhism. We're talking about how women have worked on the revival of Buddhism and how was your ordinated life and all. So different experiences from different people. So we would
Oh,
like to
okay.
know your experience.
Now I'm clear. Please forgive me if I sound so naively ignorant and
No, it's okay.
absent-minded on such matter. But yeah, so it will be an honor to really share my experience as being a practitioner in the Buddhist path. Well, I mean, as I'm sure many of you know, that my decision to become a nun was not out of my deep devotion towards Dharma or anything like that, but then simply because of the unpleasant experiences under the domestic violence that I was going through. That was the source reason why I ended up choosing to become a nun, and take refuge in the nunnery. And but then, so fortunately, and I must be due to some of my past good deeds and merit, that I receive such a guruji, my teacher, that who really blessed and transformed my whole negative karma into positive, and gave a proper perception towards life, and in life and in its experiences, and especially regarding my how I perceived my past experiences, and then my future upcoming experiences. So he really blessed me with the proper guidance, and then the education through which I have been able to really live my life in a much satisfactory level. Not, of course, as human nature, we are never completely satisfied, but as very sincerely, as much as possible, I have been able to try whatever little bit I could do in the process of correcting my own karma, and establishing the right meaning to my existence on this earth, by engaging myself in different activities, such as to serve, or to find a way how I can facilitate to reduce the difficulties or the pains that are experienced in some of our very less fortunate brothers and sisters, wherever I go. So, and the best way that I was able to do was through music. And the music that I learned in the monastery, with the blessing of my teacher, and which were all the musics that we performed during our ritual ceremonies, or during the time when we are praying to our aradhana, like aradhya, to so our protector, and to one's own main deity. So these melodies, I was able to perform them in a very melodious way, through which I've been able to find, or someone came in my life who really explained that this can be used to make offering to all the beings around the world who are suffering with the ignorance, and maybe it can be a spark, or the switch to invoke compassion in people's heart by listening to these great compassionate mantras, very effective and full of blessing mantras, and which I have been doing, and in the process of doing that, I realized, even though I am a nun, these financial resources that were generated out of these programs were something that I was like, oh wow, I can these resources are generated now, what to do with it? Well, as a Buddhist, I try to dedicate all of them to transform many lives of young girls in Nepal. As we both know, I mean, like you in India or in Nepal, we share pretty much the similar culture where our girls are less encouraged to have higher academic education, and that considered less priority towards giving them the opportunity to receive those kind of a platform. So I somehow, deep in my heart, due to the experiences that I had in my worldly life, in my family, or in the neighborhood, where I always see the strong and very ignorant practice of patriarchy. So that always made me feel very unhappy, actually, and it is very unfair and very unfortunate that people still are carrying this culture in the name of religion or name of our ancient culture, so I always stood against it, and but not, of course, not in a very ugly way. I try to find, with the help of my teacher, I realize how I can express that dissatisfaction towards these very unpleasant experience of patriarchy and unfair perception of the society towards the girls or women. So I found a way to express that, and I tried to stand strong on my feet with a very special independent identity that I established, even though I belong to a very conservative culture or society, in the monastic system. I dared, I gathered the courage to express myself, of course, as much as possible in the nicest way, which was through music. And then, as the byproduct of my activity in music and my social activities, I think the financial resources and then the fame, the celebrity status, and so on, everything was, it was coming by, which, with the blessing of my teacher, it never really affected me deeply. But yes, at the same time, I learned to rejoice on that fact. So at this stage of my life, I'm very deeply grateful for whatever experiences that I went through, whether that was through the domestic violence or the patriarchy systems, or it at least made me realize and stand strong against the wrong perception of our society, thinking that we as women, born as a woman, are weak, less capable, and less intelligent, and so on. These all misconception about misperception against the women. I've been able to prove them wrong. I think so far so good that I've been successful in doing that, and so I'm very, very grateful towards my teacher for that training and that brought up that I received with such a value of my existence as who I am, rather than thinking as a gender, the differences in the gender, but above all, as being a human being born with the capacity, the potential to achieve enlightenment and to perform the best as you could for the sake of mankind and in this, in serving.
Right, right. So especially when you talk about women's contribution and how much courage it takes, it's certainly this thought came to my mind that our university, the leadership of our university, is in the hand of three women only: our founder president, Dr. Mukti, our chancellor, Dr. Stuti, and our CEO, who is connected with us today, Dr. Shalya. She is very young, dynamic, and running the institution in just the right direction we want. So when we talk about women, yes, it takes a little more courage, little more difficulty, but we come in the best possible way.
Yes, definitely.
We run
I think
in the best way.
Somehow we have experienced this in the family as well. Whichever children performs much more responsibility, the rest of the family always expect that particular person to do more.
Yeah, right.
So similarly, I think women are capable of taking in a lot of emotional, baggages, at the same time physical performance, and then the contributions and caring and nurturing and so we are capable of that. Actually, what really is amazing and beautiful qualities and strength that we are born with. So I guess and sadly the society has taken it for granted in a way that we are considered someone who are someone where everyone can throw their garbages on. So but then on the contrary, now the 21st century has come to they have come to realize that yes, women are not just limited into being there to take up all the garbages of the family or the society or anyhow, whatever, however you put it. So, but then it's a beautiful era now. We are in 21st century where women really has proven to be
Yes.
everything they can choose to be.
True, true, very true. From this sentence of yours that everybody throws garbage and we need not to take it. This reminded me that most venerable Dhammananda ji quoted that we are not supposed to understand ourselves how men have, made us understand this in the scriptures and different artifacts or anything. We need to acknowledge our importance on our own.
Yes,
By
absolutely. First of all, being born as a human being itself is immense, like it's precious. Whether we are in the form of a woman or a form of a man, to receive such a precious human life itself is very, special. So, and we consist with all the potential, as we are explained about, as my Guruji, my teacher, has always blessed me with the understanding that every being has the seed to develop as to bloom as a Buddha, and Bodhisattva. So we are with that potential. We are born with that. That's inherent quality that we are with. So let's rejoice on that, and then find proper ways to that enhance that capacity to the fullest, as Buddhas and Bodhisattvas that are there as an example for us. But sadly nowadays, we as women, as we have our size of our world sometimes depends, is remaining in the size of just a small family, or size of a small community, or a small size of a small city, or a small country, or but then
Right.
21st century is the time where everyone should be a global citizen. The sky is the limit, to exhibit your ability.
True. We truly need to expand our horizons here.
Absolutely.
It's high time. Thank you so much, Venerable. It is so nice hearing your life experiences.
My pleasure, and please, thank you so much. My humble respect to all the venerables, and thank you, Bharti University, for making me part of this very auspicious gathering. Please forgive me if I'm for being late, and at the same time being a little confused and absent-minded in the subject that I was supposed to talk.
Subharti